Hello and welcome to National Focus for Thursday, May 16, 2024. I am Adicia Burton. In the headlines, government presents proposed electoral modernization legislation to Electoral Commission. 7 soil testing kits to enhance extension work within the Ministry of Agriculture. And a 3-day small business development training for St. Joseph entrepreneurs. The details of the headline stories and more when we return. Welcome back. Prime Minister Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit has announced that the government of Dominica has presented copies of proposed legislation for electoral reform to the Electoral Commission.
But I just need to update and inform the country that the government has submitted to the Electoral Commission, in keeping with Section 51 of the Constitution, all of the draft bills in relation to the electoral reform process. We had made a commitment to finalize those bills. They have been finalized by the Office of the Attorney General and Attorney General himself. And also we have submitted copies, draft copies, to Her Excellency the President. We believe that this is a major step in the fulfillment of our commitment to the nation and to our international partners and our efforts towards electoral modernization, electoral reform. The next step is that we shall also make copies available to all members of Parliament. And the intention there also after this is to have a session, an informal session with all members of Parliament, so that we can discuss the bills, hear their comments, hear their suggestions, in essence do a review with them before those bills are taken to its final process of going to Parliament. Following that, we will also make available on the government's website all of the bills, so that any Dominican citizen or resident who wishes to review the bill and to look at it and to apprise themselves of what is contained in those bills, they will have an opportunity to do so. We intend to keep this process very tight, so that the thinking of the government is to go to Parliament in June, before the end of the financial year, to do the first reading and quite possibly the second and third reading. There will be a short break between the first reading and the second and third reading. But we intend to have this finalized in the month of June, so that all of the necessary budgetary allocations can be made in the upcoming financial estimates, in an effort to give the Electoral Commission not only the legislative mandate, but also the financial resources required to advance the implementation of the electoral reform process. So I'm very happy that we're at this point. We've made a commitment, and we have kept that commitment. And my hope and prayer is that we will appreciate that the draft bills will address some of the fundamental concerns or observations which have been raised by certain sections of the public. And also we have taken note of the observations and the recommendations of our international partners. We will also be sending, in a formal way, copies of the draft bills to the Organization of American States, the Commonwealth Secretariat, the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States, and the CARICOM, so that they too can be informed and apprised of the steps which the government has taken towards the fulfillment and finalization of our efforts towards electoral modernization. So this is where we are. I think it's a major milestone, it's a major step forward, and let us embrace that process and let us put this matter to rest once and for all.
WUSC Caribbean, through the Sustainable Agriculture in the Caribbean SAC project, has handed over 7 soil testing kits to the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries, Blue and Green Economy. The ceremony was held at Vanulf's House, formerly known as the Dominica Banana Marketing Corporation DBMC building, on Wednesday, May 15, 2024. OECS Country Coordinator for the Sustainable Agriculture in the Caribbean SAC project, Dr. Nadia Paquet-Ansem, says the soil testing kit enhances the delivery of extension work.
WUSC will be enhancing the capacity of extension support services of the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries, Blue and Green Economy through 7 soil testing kits, one for each agricultural region, valued at close to 25,000 Eastern Caribbean dollars. These kits will support the assessment of key essential elements such as pH, electrical conductivity, temperature and humidity, nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. Each of these nutrients play a crucial role in plant growth and development.
Dr. Ansem says these kits will not only increase efficiency, but also aid farmers in developing and using more sustainable agriculture practices.
Not only does this initiative enhance the skills and expertise of the Extension Support Services, but will also support farmers in promoting sustainable and climate-resilient agricultural practices. Through this venture, we are also hoping to extend some training through the support of Alvin Murray from Jamaica, who will spend some time with us next month to deliver some training components to not only the extension officers, but the farmers on the efficient use of these soil testing kits.
Meanwhile, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries, Blue and Green Economy, Mr. Ryan Ansem, says these new soil testing kits will go a long way in improving extension work around the island.
The soil kits will go a long way in enhancing our research and development capacity, enhancing how we transfer technology to the farmers. And we are talking about real-time field results analysis. So you can go on the field as an extension officer, take some soil samples, analyze for pH, analyze for phosphorus, NPK, nitrogen, and potassium. So that is very, very significant. No longer you have to bring it to the lab. Yes, you have to do confirmation at the lab, but that itself is very, very important to get real-time results on the field.
He thanked WUSC Caribbean for their continued support of the development of sustainable agriculture in Dominica.
We want to applaud and appreciate the effort that WUSC is making in Dominica. This will enhance how we transfer this kind of technology to the farmers itself. And so having a healthy soil will provide that opportunity to transfer that knowledge to the farmers, because productivity of the soil is important. It will provide for plant growth. And when we talk about plant growth, we talk about how we do that analysis to inform the farmer what nutrients that the plant will require. So the plant requirements, it starts with the soil.
Author of a series of business training guides developed for adults and teenagers, Mrs. Marilyn Coffey Morris, says it's important that individuals with an interest in entrepreneurship get an early start. Mrs. Coffey Morris, a project manager by profession, says her love for writing has led her to produce the series of books for adults and teenagers.
The idea of writing the books was my experience with my parents. My parents had small businesses when I was a little child, growing up in my formative years. And I did not have the experience working, learning about entrepreneurship, nor did my mom, nor my dad. And I also worked at one of our main developmental agencies in Dominica, which was the National Development Foundation. And it sort of sparked my interest in entrepreneurship. And I decided, well, why don't I write the books for persons who are in business or potential persons who would like to get into starting a business. So that's where the idea was born.
The books authored by Mrs. Cathy Morris are on display this week as part of Library Week 2024.
We have the preparation phase. We also have the execution phase. So when the business has started, what do you do in order to run the business? And then I also prepared the other phase, which is the expansion phase. What do I do to, how they call it, expand the business, grow the business? So these are the 3 phases in business. And then I said to myself, but why are we only thinking of adults? Why don't we think of children? So I decided to launch a book for children in their formative years between the ages of 13 to 17 years old. So everything that's portrayed in this series is also portrayed in this guide for the children during their teenage years. So it's in a very simple form that they understand how to start the business and how to grow the business.
She explained why she believes it's important that anyone interested in becoming an entrepreneur begins early.
It's important that they start early. Why? Because we don't want to wait until they leave secondary school and then they start. So what I'm trying to do is to inculcate that spirit of entrepreneurship in the children during those young years. Now, what I did, after I prepared the guides, I donated 2 to all the secondary schools. So there are 2 children in all the secondary schools, and some of them even more, because I was able to hand over a few to the junior monarchs and also to the teenage pageants. And I also handed to the social center as well, the FOTA program, trying my best to give back to the young people so that they understand entrepreneurship and learn how to be an entrepreneur in business even before they leave school.
Mrs. Cathy Morris says she is planning an annual summer camp which will focus on entrepreneurship for children.
One of the main growth factor of a country is in entrepreneurship is to show people the how-tos of business, and these books will help them of the how-tos in business. And not only that, it is done in a form whereby there are different phases. So depending on the phase that you are in business, you buy the series. So if you are not in business and you are potential, you can buy the series of 3, right? And if you are at whatever stage, you can buy the execution or the expansion. So it depends on the stage at which you are in business. The children, we are also coming up with a summer program, a studentpreneur summer camp for the children. And it's going to be so activity-based that it will help the children to understand business from an active point of view.
Prime Minister the Honourable Roosevelt Skerrit says it's about time that long outstanding matters between longshoremen and the Board of Directors of the Dominica Air and Seaport Authority, DASPA, be resolved. The Honourable Prime Minister sounded a note of optimism when he emerged from a meeting with stakeholders on Tuesday.
I think we had a very constructive, mutually respectful engagement with the civil longshoremen and of course the executive and of course the entire board of DASPA and the management of DASPA. It was really an opportunity for me to hear from the men their concerns and what are the recommendations and how we should address the concerns. I believe that all of the points that they've raised are legitimate points which DASPA needs to address as a matter of urgency. What I've decided to put in place is a structure that will assess all of the points that they raised and put a schedule to ensure that we can implement those points.
The Prime Minister says going forward, a task force or working group will include representatives of the longshoremen.
They've asked for one of the members to be on the board, and I will effect that. So we'll put a member on the board. And of course, the long outstanding dispute between DASPA and the longshore civil men is something that I've been dealing with, and I am confident that before the end of June, we will bring to an end that impasse and have a mutually accepted settlement between DASPA and the longshoremen. And they agreed that it is not in their interest for them to prolong this matter. People have retired, people have died, people are about to retire, and I think that it will be an opportunity for the union to be able to share this money among those who have retired and those who are about to retire.
You're watching National Focus. More when we return. Welcome back. Parliamentary Representative for the St. Joseph constituency, Honourable Darren Lloyd, in collaboration with the Ministry of Labour, Public Service Reform, Social Partnership, Entrepreneurship and Small Business Development, hosted a small business training program for young entrepreneurs around the constituency. The three-day training is being held at the Layu Resource Centre from Tuesday, May 14, 2024. Honourable Lloyd told participants that programs like these are critical in the development of their small businesses.
This is an opportunity that you can consider an invaluable one. And I believe one of the most expensive things, one of the most priceless things, are those that you cannot buy.
Yeah.
So for example, no matter how much monies, how much financial assistance or financial contributions that someone might give you for your small business, it cannot be compared to what you have up there, what the information that you possess to run a business. Running a business is not all the time about finances and being able to, pay something, but understanding how to balance, for example, an account. This also plays a significant role in a successful business.
He thanked the Ministry of Small Business for its involvement in the training program and the overall investment in the entrepreneurs and their development.
I want to commend the Ministry of Small Business for taking time and understanding that competency is just as important as financing, and that as long as you take advantage of this opportunity, it is going to create a series of opportunities to come in the future. And I want to especially commend the brother Danny Joseph and Malcolm and Walter. I know that they have worked very hard towards realization of this activity. Also PS and the minister there, they have all spoken very passionately about what is about to happen there. Now, it's an opportunity for yourselves as individuals. It's an opportunity to develop yourselves, your personal skills, and not just that, your businesses.
Minister of State with specific responsibility for entrepreneurship and small business development, Honourable Darren Pinard, says the training will cover various topics aimed at helping entrepreneurs become more skilled at managing their businesses.
Over the next 3 days, you will get training on customer service, financial management, marketing, and entrepreneurship. And it is our hope that you will leave here a better equipped manager to ensure your business success. We all know that small businesses face significant challenges, a lot of which centers around obtaining financing and obtaining specialized skills such as financial management, marketing professionals, and HR professionals, and so on. And that is why this small business unit is dedicated to providing such training sessions as this one, here and across the island. So the skills that you will be getting in this session are skills that will help you be able to better manage your business.
Two popular cultural heritage sites within the Kalinago territory, namely the Kalinago Barana Ote and Les Kalutechia, are among key sites in Dominica that will see enhancements in the near future.
We have realized that the Kalinago community, with the inhabitants and what we look at the cultural heritage there and the artifacts and resources, have been a major contributor to tourism in Dominica. And we realize that we have to do more to ensure that those trust assets that we have are continuously maintained and improved upon. And so we've been doing some work at the Kalinago Baranote, for instance, to make sure that the site is much more functional, to maintain it, because we are using a lot of traditional materials, and those have wear and tear over the years. And so we are ensuring that we keep that prime property intact to become a significant part of the tourism project.
The Les Kalutechia site, located in Sineku, is one of the targeted areas for an upgrade due to its value in the indigenous people's history.
That space speaks to the legend of how our ancestors envisioned how it all began in terms of creation and the development of Kalinago people. So we honor that myth, that legend, that story, and we realize that we have to have services along that route. So we're ensuring that there's a proper washroom facilities. We're going to ensure that there's proper rest areas in terms of well-designed gazebos, that it is safe for visitors and the proper readings are done. and to ensure that while we do promote a nature-based tourism product, that we have all of the safety issues and the accommodating amenities available to the visitors.
The government of Dominica remains committed to providing opportunities for the indigenous people of Dominica.
The history of Dominica, the heritage of Dominica really stems out of the Carnago experience. And so a lot of people are enjoying that space. I want to ensure that as a government, we provide this facility and the safe space. We've been working a lot with the Ministry of Tourism on that particular project, and we have a local contractor. And so all of those initiatives within the Carnago space continue to use local expertise, because we are mindful that we can only build capacity by giving local people an opportunity to ply their craft. We've been able to work as the Ministry of Environment, especially the Department of Carnago Affairs, with various stakeholders to ensure we get the best quality work done.
The contracts for the rehabilitation and enhancement of Les Calutet Share and the Kalinago Barana Ote upgrade signed by the Ministry of Tourism total $90,934. Coming up next, the Creole News highlights with Jeno Jacob.
Bienvenue à ce nouvel accueil, nom moi c'est Gis Jacob. Premier ministre Dominique Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit, il joint et puis travailleur Paula Avanzier, il joint et puis Stevie Dawes, Longshoremen et puis membre directeur d'ASPA, Dominica Air and Seaport Authority, autorité qui a ménagé avion et puis bateau qui a venu et puis sorti Dominique. Il était une location pour PM Skerrit discuter et puis travailler pour tant de problèmes yo. PM Skerrit dit tout point, c'est point travailler levé, c'est bon point. Et puis, DASPA supposé adresser ces points ça immédiatement. Le gouvernement qui mettait un team ensemble qui gardait tout point travailleur levé. Le gouvernement qui mettait un schedule pour adresser tout problème travailleur. Premier ministre Skerrit dit, avant finissement juin, ça c'est juin, l'autre mois, gouvernement qui résolvait problème travailleur ni. Ministre de l'Éducation joint et puis mon constituency Nord Roseau lundi. Midinland pour discuter construction de l'école secondaire Goodwill. Le gouvernement a bâti 5 écoles primaires et puis une secondaire. La République chinoise a bâti cette école-là. 5 écoles primaires, une Antibo, Calibichi, Belleville-Chopin, Tetmon et puis Sinikou. Ministère pour l'Éducation, Honorable October Alfred, dit nous plie.
Goodwill Secondary School, c'est seulement Secondary School qui a un projet là, qui People's Republic of China a fait par Dominique. Nous avons 5 primary school et nous avons une secondary school, Goodwill Secondary. C'est la petite gouvernement ça là, et c'est la petite Ministry of Education aussi, quand nous avons travaillé sur ce projet pour nous joindre monde en un projet là, pour nous dire comment travailler là aller, et ça nous a fait, ça nous a fait, et ça nous style ni pour faire. Et aussi, on a toujours tapé ces gens là connaître place là, puis parce que c'est officiel là. Et là nous aller à ce meeting là, yo ka ba nous bonne idée, et yo ka demander nous beaucoup de questions parce que yo savent place là mais passer nous l'élève. So après-midi là nous joindre avec ces gens là de Goodwill.
On a discuté plan l'école là et puis moun Goodwill.
Nous montrons yo plan là, nous dit yo ça nous a fait, nous montrons la chimie qui est passée, nous montrons là ces enfants là qui jouent, et ça était bien intéressant. Et ces gens là ont bien accepté le report là, et nous que jouons encore, nous avons fait ça souvent pour ces gens là toujours savent ça nous avons fait.
Le gouvernement a assuré les gens qui n'ont pas couvert plein fil là et puis terre.
Ces gens là qui travaillent sur l'école là, ils ont tiré terre, mais ils ont besoin de ça là encore à peut-être un mois, ils ont le terre là encore. So ça nous fait nous baillons un petit coin à sur côté parc là pour yo ani poser terre là et là yo fini faire ça yo ka faire là yo ka pointer là et yo ka virer métier. So nous parler perdre terre là, nous parler yo métier trop loin, mais nous ka dit ça pour moun savent nous pas ka couvrir parc là et terre, nous pas ka mettre terre sur parc là. Sous terre à un petit coin, nous ani poser ça là parce que yo besoin pour yo fini faire travail là. So adam baby un mois, 2 mois, yo ke tiwe, yo ke servi encore, even c'est ça. So c'est pas because nous connaître moun mais pas que avant yo ouais bite ka fait yo ka parler, mais c'est pour que aussi nous limiting là en cela pour nous expliquer ça pour ces moun la connaître, c'est ça qu'a fait là.
Gouvernement qui développe Barana Ote et puis l'escalier tête chien, des places touristes qui populaires en pays Kalinago. Gouvernement Dominica travaille pour bas moun Kalinago opportunité pour développer. Ministre touriste signé un contrat qui valait 90 934 000 $. Ça c'est l'argent ça là c'est pour développer Barana Ote et puis l'escalier tête chien. Honorable Kozia Frederick parlait et puis nous compte ça.
Nous avons fait bitin Kalinago Barana Ote, nous avons mangé place là, nous avons fait un interpretation center, un museum, l'escalier tête chien, nous avons bâti des toits gazebo, nous avons mis barrage, nous avons fait primaire marche. Puis ça, nous les produit Kalinago pour weti yon que la moun sa weti en place là avait fait un lobitin bouille manger yo ça couper canne yo ça travailler en jardin nous les moun pas en juste passer en Kalinago mais weti là avait fait un lobitin puis nous pas salité avait place quoi antique en Barbade nous pour faire un bitin qui sans nous.
Ça, c'est tout à ce nouvel en créole. Non, monsieur Geno Jacob. Au revoir.
And that's all for this edition of National Focus. Be sure to follow GIS Dominica on Facebook, YouTube, and on Twitter. You can also drop us an email at gis@dominica.gov.dm. From all of us here on the GIS News production team, I'm Adicia Burton. Thank you for watching.